Emotions that work. Using emotional intelligence to thrive. Introduction. The power of emotions in our lives. Emotions are often seen as unpredictable, overwhelming forces that disrupt our logic and hold us hostage in moments of vulnerability. Yet, what if emotions were not the enemy but our greatest allies? What if learning to understand, harness, and channel our feelings could unlock new levels of personal and professional success, fulfillment, and resilience? Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions as well as those of others, offers precisely this opportunity. In today's fast-paced, interconnected world, emotional intelligence is more important than ever. It shapes the quality of our relationships, influences decision-making, impacts leadership effectiveness, and even plays a role in physical and mental health. The truth is, emotions are not something to suppress or fight. They are signals packed with valuable information. When you learn how to make your emotions work for you, rather than against you, you open the door to thriving in all areas of life. This book is a guide to turning emotions into tools of growth and power. You will learn the science behind emotional intelligence, how to cultivate self-awareness and self-regulation, deepen empathy, and build stronger connections with others. Each chapter provides practical strategies backed by research and real-life examples, designed to help you thrive both personally and professionally. Whether you struggle with emotional overwhelm, want to improve your relationships, or aim to become a more inspiring leader, this book will equip you with the emotional skills you need to succeed. Embrace your emotions, let them work for you, and watch your life transform. Chapter 1. Understanding Emotional Intelligence, the Foundation of Thriving. Emotional intelligence is more than just a trendy concept. It's a powerful and essential skill that influences nearly every aspect of our lives. While intelligence quotient, IQ, measures cognitive abilities like memory, logic, and reasoning, emotional intelligence, EI, deals with how well we understand, manage, and harness emotions both in ourselves and others. The ability to navigate this emotional terrain is a fundamental ingredient for personal success, strong relationships, and meaningful leadership. In this chapter, we will explore what emotional intelligence truly means, why it matters so much, and how the core components of EI provide a blueprint for thriving in life. At its essence, emotional intelligence is about awareness and control. Awareness of emotions and control over how they shape our behavior and decisions. It's not about suppressing feelings or being coldly rational. On the contrary, EI involves fully feeling emotions, understanding their origin and message, and choosing how best to respond to them. This skill separates those who react impulsively or become overwhelmed by emotions from those who use emotions as valuable information to act with clarity and purpose. The term emotional intelligence became widely known thanks to psychologist Daniel Goleman in the mid-1990s, though the concept had been researched earlier by scholars like Peter Salovey and John Mayer. Goleman's work outlined 5 key components that form the foundation of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Together, these elements describe the full spectrum of emotional competence. Self-awareness is the starting point. It means having a clear understanding of your own emotional state, recognizing what you are feeling in the moment, and understanding how those feelings influence your thoughts and actions. Think about the last time you felt frustrated or anxious. Could you pinpoint that feeling as it happened? Or did it catch you off guard and take control? Being self-aware means catching those emotions early, recognizing physical cues like a tight chest or a quickened heartbeat, and reflecting on why you might be feeling that way. It's a moment of self-recognition that creates choice instead of reaction. Self-awareness is not just about identifying emotions, it also means understanding their impact. For example, realizing that stress makes you impatient helps you anticipate when you might snap at a friend or colleague, giving you the chance to pause and redirect your response. This awareness builds emotional literacy, the ability to name and describe emotions accurately, which in turn reduces confusion and emotional overwhelm. People with high self-awareness tend to be more authentic, honest with themselves, and able to learn from their emotional experiences. Closely linked to self-awareness is self-regulation, the ability to manage and control your emotions effectively. This does not mean bottling up feelings or pretending they don't exist. Rather, it means choosing how and when to express emotions in ways that are constructive and aligned with your values. Self-regulation is like the brake pedal on a car. It helps slow down impulsive reactions, especially in stressful or triggering situations. For instance, instead of yelling during a disagreement, self-regulation allows you to stay calm, listen, and respond thoughtfully. Self-regulation also involves resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from emotional setbacks, disappointment, or failure. People with strong self-regulation don't get stuck in negative moods or let frustration spiral into destructive behavior. Instead, they acknowledge their feelings, learn from mistakes, and refocus on their goals. Techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and taking time-outs are practical tools that support self-regulation. The third pillar of emotional intelligence is motivation, the internal drive that pushes us to achieve goals with energy, persistence, and optimism. Motivated individuals harness their emotions as fuel for action, even when faced with obstacles or setbacks. They are not solely motivated by external rewards like money or recognition, but by a deeper purpose and passion. For example, an entrepreneur may be driven by a vision to solve a meaningful problem rather than just profit, which sustains them through difficult times. Motivation in the context of emotional intelligence also relates to maintaining a positive attitude and growth mindset. Emotionally intelligent people tend to reframe challenges as opportunities, stay optimistic despite adversity, and remain committed to self-improvement. This internal motivation is contagious. It inspires others and creates momentum in teams and organizations. Understanding how emotions energize motivation is critical to building ambition, creativity, and long-term success. Next, empathy, the ability to understand, feel, and respond to the emotions of others, is often considered the heart of emotional intelligence. Empathy enables us to connect deeply with people, appreciate their perspectives, and respond with kindness and sensitivity. It goes beyond sympathy, which is feeling pity for someone. Empathy means stepping into their shoes emotionally and intellectually. For example, an empathetic leader notices when an employee is struggling and offers support without judgment. Empathy involves both cognitive and emotional components. Cognitively, it's about recognizing others' emotional states and viewpoints. Emotionally, it's about resonating with those feelings. This skill improves communication, conflict resolution, and collaboration. Empathetic people tend to build stronger, more trusting relationships because others feel seen and understood. In business, empathy fosters customer loyalty, effective teamwork, and leadership influence. Finally, social skills represent the practical application of emotional intelligence in how we interact with others. This includes communication, persuasion, leadership, conflict management, and building networks. Socially skilled individuals can express themselves clearly, listen actively, resolve disputes constructively, and inspire cooperation. They understand social dynamics and can adapt their behavior to different situations and personalities. Strong social skills are essential in nearly every sphere of life, from friendships and family to workplaces and communities. Leaders with emotional intelligence use social skills to motivate teams, navigate office politics, and create inclusive cultures. Students with well-developed social skills collaborate better and resolve peer conflicts more effectively. Why is emotional intelligence so important? Research has repeatedly shown that EI predicts success across multiple dimensions of life. Studies indicate that individuals with high emotional intelligence tend to have better mental health, more satisfying relationships, greater academic and career success, and even improved physical health. Unlike IQ, which is relatively fixed, emotional intelligence is a skill that can be developed and strengthened over time, making it an empowering area for growth. In leadership and entrepreneurship, emotional intelligence is often the difference between thriving and failing. Leaders who lack EI may struggle with communication, fail to motivate their teams, and burn out under pressure. Conversely, emotionally intelligent leaders create environments of trust and engagement, adapt to change, and make better decisions under stress. Research from organizations like Harvard Business Review and TalentSmart shows that EI accounts for nearly 90% of the difference between average and outstanding performers. For students and young people, emotional intelligence is just as crucial. Navigating academic pressures, social relationships, and future career choices demands emotional awareness and regulation. Students with strong EI cope better with stress, bounce back from setbacks, and develop positive social connections. Developing emotional intelligence early sets a foundation for lifelong resilience and success. Cultivating emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness, becoming a student of your own feelings. This means pausing throughout the day to ask, what am I feeling right now? What triggered this emotion? How is it influencing my thoughts and actions? Mindfulness, meditation, and journaling are excellent tools to increase this awareness. Instead of reacting automatically, you build a habit of noticing and naming emotions, which creates space for choice. From there, practice self-regulation by learning to respond instead of react. Techniques like deep breathing, visualization, or stepping away from a heated situation give you time to calm down and gain perspective. Developing self-regulation also means forgiving yourself for emotional slip-ups and viewing them as opportunities to learn rather than failures. Empathy can be nurtured by cultivating curiosity about others. Ask questions, listen deeply, and try to see situations from different viewpoints. Volunteer, engage with diverse communities, or simply practice kindness in everyday interactions. The more you practice empathy, the more natural it becomes. To build social skills, seek feedback on your communication and relationships. Work on active listening, expressing yourself clearly, and managing conflict with respect. Join groups, clubs, or teams where collaboration is required. Leadership roles, even small ones, help strengthen social intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, commitment, and courage. It asks us to face uncomfortable feelings rather than avoid them, to open our hearts as well as our minds, and to practice compassion toward ourselves and others. The rewards are profound: stronger relationships, better mental health, greater leadership impact, and the ability to thrive even in uncertainty. As you progress through this book, you will gain deeper insight into each component of emotional intelligence and practical strategies to cultivate it in your daily life. You will learn how to feel your emotions fully without being controlled by them, how to understand others deeply, and how to turn emotional awareness into a source of strength and success. Embrace the power of emotional intelligence. It is the foundation of thriving, not just surviving in today's complex world. Chapter 2: The science of emotions. What emotional intelligence is built on. To truly grasp the power of emotional intelligence, it's important to understand the science behind emotions themselves. Emotions are not just fleeting feelings or irrational impulses. They are complex biological and psychological phenomena essential to human survival, decision-making, and social connection. Emotional intelligence rests on this foundation, the way our brains, bodies, and minds process emotions shapes how effectively we can recognize, manage, and use them. Emotions begin as neurological responses in the brain to internal or external stimuli. When something happens, a stressful event, a happy moment, a threat, or a success, the brain processes it and produces an emotional reaction. This reaction involves a cascade of signals that affect our body, mind, and behavior almost instantaneously. The ancient parts of our brain, such as the amygdala, play a key role in this process by quickly assessing threats and activating the fight, flight, or freeze response. This system helped our ancestors survive dangers, but can also trigger emotional reactions today that feel automatic or overwhelming. However, humans are equipped with a more advanced brain region, the prefrontal cortex, which acts like an emotional control center. This part of the brain enables us to slow down, reflect, and choose how to respond instead of reacting purely on impulse. Emotional intelligence arises from the interplay between these brain systems, the fast, automatic emotional responses from the amygdala and the deliberate, thoughtful regulation by the prefrontal cortex. Decades of neuroscience research have illuminated how emotions work in the brain and body. We now know that emotions influence cognition, thinking, memory, attention, and even physical health. For example, strong negative emotions like chronic stress or anxiety can impair memory and concentration, while positive emotions like joy and gratitude enhance creativity and problem-solving. This mind-body connection is a central reason emotional intelligence matters. Managing emotions well helps optimize brain function and overall well-being. In addition to brain science, psychology has contributed vital insights into emotions and EI. Early psychologists like Paul Ekman discovered that some emotional expressions are universal across cultures. Happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and disgust have recognizable facial expressions worldwide. This universality suggests emotions are deeply rooted in our biology, but are also shaped by culture and personal experience. One influential model in psychology is the emotional regulation process. It describes how we manage emotions through various strategies: situation selection, avoiding triggers; situation modification, changing the environment; attentional deployment, shifting focus; cognitive change, reframing thoughts; and response modulation, controlling behavioral expression. Emotional intelligence involves mastering these strategies to navigate feelings effectively. For instance, when feeling overwhelmed by fear, you might use cognitive change by reminding yourself of safety or previous successes to reduce anxiety. Recent research also highlights the important role of emotional awareness as the foundation for regulation. Being able to identify and label emotions precisely rather than vague feelings like bad or upset improves emotional control. This is why developing an emotional vocabulary and practicing mindfulness is so valuable. It enhances self-awareness, which is the first step in emotional intelligence. Another important area of research is emotional contagion, the phenomenon where emotions spread from person to person. Studies show that moods can be caught through facial expressions, tone of voice, and body language. This explains why being around positive, emotionally intelligent people boosts our own mood and resilience, while toxic or stressed environments drain emotional energy. Emotional intelligence includes not only managing your own emotions, but also understanding and influencing the emotional atmosphere around you. From a physiological perspective, emotions are closely linked to the autonomic nervous system, which controls automatic functions like heart rate, breathing, and digestion. Emotional states can activate either the sympathetic nervous system, responsible for fight or flight responses, or the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the body and promotes rest, and parasympathetic nervous system, digestion. Learning to regulate these bodily responses through techniques such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or meditation enhances emotional self-regulation by calming the physical symptoms of stress or anger. Emerging fields like affective neuroscience and psychoneuroimmunology further show that emotional health impacts immune function and inflammation. Chronic negative emotions like anger, resentment, or sadness have been linked to increased risk of illness, while positive emotions promote health and longevity. Emotional intelligence, therefore, is not only a mental skill, but a vital component of physical health and vitality. Emotional intelligence also intersects with decision-making science. Traditional views portrayed decisions as purely rational calculations, but we now understand that emotions are integral to decision-making. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio's research demonstrated that people with impaired emotional processing struggle to make even simple decisions, underscoring how emotions provide essential information about what matters to us. EI involves recognizing these emotional signals and integrating them with rational thought for wiser choices. The science of emotions reveals a few key truths that underscore why developing emotional intelligence is so critical. First, emotions are unavoidable. They arise naturally and instantaneously in response to life's events. Trying to suppress or ignore them only leads to greater distress. Instead, emotional intelligence teaches us to accept emotions as data, to learn what they tell us about our needs, values, and environment. Second, emotions have tremendous power over our behavior, health, and relationships. Unmanaged emotions can lead to conflict, poor decisions, stress-related illness, and isolation. But when harnessed skillfully, emotions become a source of energy, insight, and connection that propel us forward. Third, emotions are interconnected with our thoughts and bodily states in a dynamic system. This means we can influence emotions through mindful attention, cognitive reframing, and physical regulation. Emotional intelligence is the art and science of working with this system to thrive. Finally, emotions are social. They shape and are shaped by our interactions with others. Emotional intelligence is essential for building trust, empathy, and collaboration, which are fundamental to success in personal life, school, and business. Understanding the science of emotions demystifies our inner world and provides practical pathways for growth. It empowers us to stop seeing emotions as weaknesses or inconveniences and start appreciating them as vital signals and resources. Emotional intelligence is a trainable skill rooted in this scientific understanding, which means anyone can improve it with intention and practice. Throughout this book, we will explore practical tools based on this science, from mindfulness exercises that increase emotional awareness to communication techniques that boost empathy and social skills. We will examine how to harness motivation, regulate impulses, and bounce back from setbacks. Science shows that even small, consistent efforts can rewire brain circuits related to emotional control and increase resilience. Remember, emotional intelligence is not about becoming perfect or emotionless. It's about becoming whole, integrating our thoughts, feelings, and actions in a way that enriches our life and relationships. It is a lifelong journey rooted in science but lived through experience. As we move forward, keep in mind that every emotion you feel is valuable data. The key is learning to interpret it accurately, respond wisely, and use it to fuel your growth. This scientific foundation will serve as your guide for developing the emotional intelligence that allows you to thrive in all areas of life. Chapter 3: Emotional Agility: Navigating the Ups and Downs of Daily Life. Life is an unpredictable journey filled with highs and lows, successes and setbacks, joy and pain. Emotional agility is the ability to navigate this complex emotional landscape with flexibility, openness, and resilience. It means allowing yourself to fully experience your feelings without getting stuck in them, without denial, suppression, or over-identification. Emotional agility empowers you to face whatever life brings, adapt quickly, and keep moving forward toward your goals. The term emotional agility was popularized by psychologist Susan David, who described it as the skill of showing up fully to your emotions and thoughts, learning from them, and then moving on with intentionality. This contrasts with emotional rigidity, where people get trapped in negative patterns of thinking or feeling, and emotional suppression, where people push feelings away, creating internal tension and stress. Imagine you are a sailor at sea. Emotional agility is your ability to read the weather, adjust the sails, and steer the ship through storms and calm waters alike. Without this skill, you might be tossed around by every wave, feeling powerless. With emotional agility, you navigate confidently, knowing you can handle whatever comes. At the core of emotional agility is acceptance, the willingness to experience emotions without judgment. This doesn't mean resigning yourself to negativity or wallowing in sadness. Instead, it means recognizing your feelings as natural human responses. Acceptance creates space for understanding rather than resistance, which reduces emotional suffering. Research shows that acceptance improves psychological health. People who accept their emotions rather than fight them experience less anxiety and depression, greater well-being, and better stress management. Acceptance also strengthens self-compassion, which is crucial for emotional resilience. The next step is mindful awareness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to your present moment experience with curiosity and openness. It helps you notice your emotions as they arise, understand their intensity and triggers, and prevent reactive behaviors. Mindfulness interrupts automatic emotional reactions by creating a pause between stimulus and response, enabling wiser choices. Practicing mindfulness can be as simple as focusing on your breath, doing a body scan, or observing your thoughts and feelings like clouds passing in the sky. Regular mindfulness practice rewires the brain, enhancing areas related to self-regulation and emotional control. Once you notice and accept your emotions, emotional agility requires detaching from your emotional story. This means not letting your thoughts and feelings define your identity or dictate your actions. For example, feeling anxious before a presentation doesn't mean you are an anxious person or doomed to fail. You can observe the anxiety, label it, and remind yourself that it is a temporary state, not a fixed truth. Cognitive distancing techniques help build this skill. These include writing down your emotions, labeling them, "I feel frustrated," and reframing negative thoughts. This challenge is an opportunity to grow. This process reduces the power of difficult emotions by breaking their grip on your mind. Emotional agility also involves valued action, choosing behaviors that align with your deeper values, even when emotions are uncomfortable. For instance, if you value learning but feel discouraged by failure, emotional agility helps you acknowledge the discouragement without letting it stop you. You act in line with your purpose despite emotional discomfort. This balance between acceptance and committed action is at the heart of many therapeutic approaches, such as acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, which has strong scientific support for improving mental health and emotional flexibility. Another important aspect is emotional flexibility in relationships. Emotions often run high in social situations, triggering defensiveness, blame, or withdrawal. Emotional agility helps you recognize your feelings without reacting impulsively and respond with empathy and clarity. This improves communication, reduces conflict, and strengthens bonds. Building emotional agility requires practice and intention. Start by noticing your emotional patterns without judgment. Use journaling to track triggers and responses. Practice mindfulness exercises daily. When emotions arise, pause and breathe instead of reacting immediately. Label the emotion and remind yourself it is temporary. Reflect on your core values and let them guide your actions. It's normal to struggle with emotional agility. Old habits die hard, and emotions can feel overwhelming. But with consistent effort, your brain rewires to become more flexible and resilient. You learn to surf the waves of emotion rather than being crushed by them. Science backs this up. Studies show that emotional agility predicts better mental health, job performance, and relationship satisfaction. People high in emotional agility cope better with stress, recover faster from setbacks, and maintain motivation. In real life, emotional agility shows up in moments big and small. It might be feeling disappointment after a rejection, but quickly refocusing on new goals. It could be admitting vulnerability in a conversation instead of hiding behind defensiveness. Or it might be choosing kindness toward yourself when overwhelmed by shame or guilt. The alternative emotional rigidity or avoidance leads to burnout, conflict, and stagnation. When people suppress emotions, they risk emotional buildup that erupts uncontrollably later. When people cling rigidly to negative stories, they get stuck in cycles of rumination and despair. Developing emotional agility is a key skill for thriving in a rapidly changing world. It enables you to handle uncertainty, setbacks, and emotional complexity with grace and strength. It builds mental toughness without losing emotional depth. It allows you to be fully human, feeling deeply, yet moving forward with purpose. To cultivate emotional agility, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself kindly, especially in emotional difficulty. Use mindfulness to increase emotional awareness and reduce reactivity. Develop cognitive flexibility by questioning automatic thoughts and reframing negativity. Connect with your core values to guide intentional action. Build supportive relationships where emotions can be expressed safely. Accept the full range of your emotions as necessary signals, not enemies. By embracing emotional agility, you transform emotions from obstacles into allies. You gain the freedom to feel deeply without being controlled by feelings. You build resilience that carries you through life's storms and leads you toward growth, connection, and fulfillment. Remember, emotional agility is not about being happy all the time or suppressing discomfort. It's about navigating the full spectrum of emotion with curiosity, courage, and care. It's about learning to flow with life rather than fighting against it. Your emotions are powerful tools. When you develop emotional agility, you harness that power to create a life of greater joy, meaning, and success. You become not just a survivor of life's ups and downs, but a thriving, emotionally intelligent navigator of your own journey. Chapter 4. Building Emotional Intelligence in Daily Life. Emotional intelligence is not a mysterious talent reserved for a few. It is a set of skills you can develop, sharpen, and apply every day to improve your relationships, decision-making, and overall well-being. The good news is that emotional intelligence is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger and more natural it becomes. In this chapter, we will explore practical ways to cultivate emotional intelligence in daily life, breaking it down into manageable habits and mindset shifts that empower you to connect with yourself and others more deeply. First, let's revisit the core components of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Each plays a vital role, and together they form the foundation of emotional agility, resilience, and success. Self-awareness is the cornerstone, the ability to recognize your own emotions as they happen, understand their causes, and observe how they influence your thoughts and behaviors. Many people live on autopilot, reacting unconsciously to feelings and situations. Developing self-awareness means stepping back and becoming a curious observer of your inner experience. This awareness creates a powerful choice point between stimulus and response. How do you build self-awareness in your busy daily life? Start by simply checking in with yourself regularly. Pause several times a day to ask, what am I feeling right now? Where in my body do I notice this feeling? What thoughts are running through my mind? Journaling can be a great tool here. Writing down your emotions and thoughts helps clarify patterns and hidden triggers. Even a few minutes of reflection can dramatically increase your emotional insight. Next is self-regulation, which is about managing your emotions constructively rather than being overwhelmed or reactive. It doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring feelings that only creates internal pressure, but learning to respond thoughtfully. Techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or brief mindfulness breaks can calm your nervous system and prevent impulsive reactions. One powerful habit for self-regulation is reframing your internal dialogue. Instead of saying, "I'm so stressed, I can't handle this," try, "I'm feeling challenged, but I have the skills to manage it." This shift in mindset reduces emotional intensity and enhances problem solving. Over time, you build resilience, facing stressors with greater composure. Motivation is the third pillar, the internal drive to pursue goals with passion and persistence. Emotionally intelligent people connect their actions to deeper values and purposes rather than superficial rewards or avoidance of pain. This intrinsic motivation fuels endurance and creativity. To cultivate motivation, clarify your why. What matters most to you? What legacy do you want to leave? When your daily tasks align with your core values, even mundane or difficult work gains meaning. Use visualization techniques to imagine the benefits of success vividly. Celebrate small wins to build momentum and positive emotional energy. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is essential for strong relationships and collaboration. It requires active listening, openness, and withholding judgment. Too often, people listen to respond rather than listen to understand. Empathy means tuning into the speaker's emotions and perspective without immediately offering advice or criticism. Practice empathy by giving people your full attention in conversations. Notice their tone, facial expressions, and body language. Reflect back what you hear to confirm understanding, such as, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated because..." This not only validates their experience, but creates trust and connection. Social skills are the outward expression of emotional intelligence in how you communicate, resolve conflicts, and build rapport. Effective social skills involve clear communication, assertiveness, and the ability to manage difficult emotions in others. Emotionally intelligent leaders inspire and motivate their teams, creating positive environments where people feel heard and valued. Improving social skills starts with self-awareness and empathy. When you know yourself and understand others, you can tailor your communication to be authentic and respectful. Practicing gratitude, giving constructive feedback, and learning to say no kindly are also vital. Applying emotional intelligence daily requires commitment and patience. It's normal to face setbacks or feel uncomfortable changing long-standing habits. However, each small step counts. Try setting a daily intention to notice your emotions and practice one EI skill. Another powerful practice is developing a growth mindset about emotions and relationships. Instead of thinking, "I'm just not good at this," believe that you can improve with effort and learning. Seek feedback from trusted friends or mentors on your emotional responses and communication. Read books, attend workshops, or use apps focused on mindfulness and emotional skills. Incorporating these habits into routines makes emotional intelligence second nature. For instance, start your morning with a brief emotional check-in and end your day journaling about emotional wins and challenges. During stressful moments, use breathing exercises to regain calm. Regularly express appreciation to colleagues, friends, or family. Emotional intelligence also benefits from physical well-being. Quality sleep, balanced nutrition, and regular exercise influence your mood and cognitive function, making it easier to regulate emotions and think clearly. Stress management techniques like yoga or nature walks reduce emotional reactivity and increase resilience. In the digital age, where distractions are constant and meaningful connection can feel rare, emotional intelligence is a competitive advantage. It helps you stay grounded amid information overload, maintain empathy in online communication, and foster authentic relationships beyond screens. Finally, remember that emotional intelligence is a lifelong journey, not a destination. Each day presents new emotions, challenges, and opportunities for growth. Embrace curiosity about your inner world and the people around you. When you build emotional intelligence, you enhance not only your personal happiness, but also your ability to lead, inspire, and create impact in your community and career. By integrating emotional intelligence into your daily life, you move from reacting to responding, from surviving to thriving. You unlock the strength to face life's complexities with courage and compassion. You become a person who doesn't just feel emotions, but uses them to work for you, driving growth, connection, and success. Chapter 5. Emotional Intelligence in Relationships. Our relationships shape the fabric of our lives with family, friends, classmates, mentors, and even casual acquaintances. These connections bring joy, support, and learning, but they can also bring conflict, misunderstanding, and stress. Emotional intelligence, EI, is the secret ingredient that transforms relationships from sources of tension into powerful avenues for growth, trust, and fulfillment. Building emotional intelligence in relationships means mastering both the inner work of self-awareness and regulation and the outer skills of empathy, communication, and conflict resolution. When you deepen your EI, you don't just survive relationships, you thrive in them, creating bonds that energize and sustain you. The foundation of emotionally intelligent relationships is self-awareness. Before you can understand others, you must understand yourself. What are your emotional triggers? When do you tend to react impulsively or shut down? Knowing your patterns gives you control. It allows you to pause, take a breath, and choose a better response. For example, if you recognize that criticism makes you defensive, you can remind yourself to listen openly instead of reacting defensively. Self-regulation in relationships is about managing your emotional responses so they don't harm or sabotage connections. It means being able to hold your ground without aggression, express vulnerability without fear, and stay calm in tense moments. Emotional intelligence trains you to respond rather than react, transforming potential conflicts into opportunities for understanding. Communication is the heart of every relationship. Emotionally intelligent communication involves more than just words. It includes tone, body language, and timing. It means listening deeply and speaking authentically. Active listening is a skill that requires your full presence, focusing entirely on the other person, resisting the urge to interrupt, and reflecting back what you hear to ensure clarity. When people feel truly heard, walls come down and trust grows. Expressing your emotions clearly and respectfully is equally important. Instead of blaming or accusing, use I statements to share how you feel and what you need. For instance, say, "I feel hurt when plans change last minute because I value predictability," instead of, "You never stick to plans." This approach reduces defensiveness and invites cooperation. Empathy is the bridge that connects hearts and minds. To practice empathy, put yourself in the other person's shoes and imagine their feelings and perspective. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say, but understanding the emotion behind their words. Empathy softens disagreements and opens the door for compromise and healing. Conflict is inevitable, but emotional intelligence changes how we face it. Instead of avoiding or escalating fights, EI encourages curiosity and patience. Ask questions to understand the other person's needs and feelings, validate their experience, and look for solutions that honor both perspectives. Sometimes, the best response is simply acknowledging pain or disappointment without rushing to fix it. Setting healthy boundaries is another crucial aspect of emotional intelligence in relationships. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines that protect your well-being while respecting others. Knowing your limits and communicating them kindly but firmly helps prevent resentment and burnout. For example, if you need quiet time after school or work, express this need clearly so others can support you. In romantic relationships, emotional intelligence fosters intimacy and lasting connection. Couples who communicate their feelings openly, handle conflicts with respect, and support each other's growth tend to experience deeper satisfaction and resilience. EI helps partners tune into each other's emotional needs and respond with care, even during disagreements. Friendships also benefit tremendously from emotional intelligence. Friends who practice empathy, honesty, and forgiveness build trust and shared joy. When you show vulnerability with friends and respond with kindness, you create a safe space where everyone can be themselves. At school or work, emotional intelligence improves teamwork and leadership. Understanding your own emotions and those of your peers helps you navigate group dynamics, motivate others, and handle criticism constructively. Leaders with high EI inspire loyalty and create positive, productive environments. Cultivating EI in relationships requires daily practice and intention. Start by noticing your emotional state before interacting with others. Are you stressed, tired, or distracted? Acknowledge this and decide how to show up. Practice active listening in conversations. Give your full attention and hold judgment. When conflict arises, remind yourself to breathe, stay curious, and seek understanding rather than winning. Remember that everyone is on their own emotional journey. People may react out of fear, pain, or past experiences. Meeting them with empathy doesn't mean tolerating hurtful behavior, but recognizing the humanity beneath. It allows for compassion alongside healthy boundaries. Technology also affects how we connect. Applying emotional intelligence online means choosing words carefully, avoiding impulsive replies, and seeking face-to-face or voice conversations for serious topics. The rewards of emotionally intelligent relationships are profound. You experience deeper connection, fewer misunderstandings, and more meaningful support. You become better equipped to handle challenges together, strengthening bonds rather than fracturing them. This creates a sense of belonging and emotional safety essential for happiness and success. In conclusion, emotional intelligence in relationships is a skill you build through awareness, practice, and compassion. It transforms how you relate to yourself and others, turning everyday interactions into opportunities for connection, learning, and growth. By nurturing EI, you create a foundation for extraordinary relationships that enrich every area of your life. Chapter 6: Emotional Resilience. Bouncing Back Stronger. Life is unpredictable. Challenges, setbacks, disappointments, and failures come to all of us. What separates those who thrive from those who struggle is emotional resilience, the ability to recover quickly from adversity, stress, or trauma, and emerge stronger than before. Emotional resilience is not about avoiding pain or pretending everything is fine. It is about embracing your emotions fully, learning from difficulties, and building inner strength to keep moving forward. At its core, emotional resilience begins with acceptance, acknowledging reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. This doesn't mean resignation or giving up, but rather facing the truth with courage and clarity. When you accept your feelings, even the painful ones like fear, sadness, or anger, you reduce their power to control you. Instead of running away from discomfort, you develop the capacity to sit with it, learn from it, and grow. Another key pillar of resilience is self-awareness. By recognizing how stress and setbacks affect your body, mind, and emotions, you can catch early warning signs and respond proactively. Maybe you notice tension in your shoulders before you get overwhelmed, or your thoughts spiral into negative self-talk after criticism. These signals alert you to take action, whether that's pausing to breathe deeply, journaling your thoughts, or seeking support. Self-regulation plays a vital role in resilience. It involves managing your emotional reactions so you don't get stuck in cycles of despair or frustration. Techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, controlled breathing, or grounding exercises help calm your nervous system and restore balance. When you learn to regulate your emotions effectively, you create space to think clearly, make better decisions, and respond thoughtfully to challenges. The stories of successful entrepreneurs, athletes, and leaders all highlight resilience as a common trait. They experience failure, rejection, and hardship, but treat those moments as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. This mindset, often called a growth mindset, views obstacles as opportunities to learn and improve. By shifting your perspective from "why me" to "what can I learn?" you unlock tremendous power to adapt and persevere. Building resilience also means cultivating optimism, the belief that despite difficulties, you have the ability to create positive outcomes. Optimism is not naive positivity, but a realistic confidence grounded in your skills, resources, and past successes. It motivates you to take action even when the path is uncertain. Studies show optimistic people have stronger immune systems, better stress management, and longer lifespans, illustrating how mindset influences health and longevity. Social connection is a critical component of emotional resilience. Humans are wired for connection. We thrive when supported and understood by others. During tough times, reaching out to friends, family, mentors, or counselors provides comfort and perspective. Sharing your feelings lessens their intensity and opens doors for encouragement and advice. Likewise, helping others through their struggles strengthens your own resilience by fostering purpose and meaning. Resilience also involves problem-solving skills. When faced with adversity, breaking down the challenge into manageable parts makes it less overwhelming. Identify what's within your control and focus your energy there. Set small, achievable goals to build momentum. Celebrate progress, no matter how small, as it fuels motivation and confidence. It's important to recognize that emotional resilience is not a fixed trait. It can be cultivated with intentional practice. Every time you face hardship and respond with courage, you reinforce neural pathways that make resilience easier next time. Like a muscle, it grows stronger with use. Taking care of your physical health supports emotional resilience. Regular exercise releases endorphins that elevate mood, improve sleep, and reduce anxiety. Proper nutrition fuels your brain and body for optimal functioning. Avoiding excessive alcohol or substance use helps maintain emotional clarity. Sleep restores your nervous system and emotional balance. When you nurture your body, you build a foundation for psychological strength. Sometimes, resilience requires reframing your story. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, view yourself as a survivor and a learner. Write down your experiences, focusing on what you've gained rather than lost. This practice rewires your brain toward gratitude and growth. Mindfulness is another powerful tool. By cultivating present moment awareness without judgment, you reduce rumination on past hurts or future worries. Mindfulness strengthens your ability to observe emotions without being overwhelmed, giving you choice and freedom. There will be moments when resilience feels out of reach, when pain is too sharp or obstacles too daunting. In those times, compassion toward yourself is essential. Treat yourself with the kindness and patience you would offer a close friend. Recognize that healing and growth take time, and setbacks are part of the journey, not the end. Resilience empowers you to transform failure into feedback, stress into strength, and pain into purpose. It frees you from the paralysis of fear and opens you to possibility. When you cultivate emotional resilience, you hold the power to keep striving, learning, and becoming the best version of yourself, no matter what life throws your way. In essence, emotional resilience is your inner armor, flexible, adaptive, and enduring. It is not about avoiding storms, but learning to dance in the rain with grace and courage. By embracing your emotions fully and developing tools to navigate life's ups and downs, you become unstoppable. Chapter 7. The Role of Relationships Building Emotional Strength Through Connection. Human beings are inherently social creatures. Our relationships with family, friends, mentors, colleagues, and even casual acquaintances profoundly shape our emotional intelligence and resilience. Emotional intelligence is not developed in isolation. It flourishes in the context of connection, communication, and empathy. Understanding the role of relationships in our emotional lives helps us harness their power to thrive both personally and professionally. At the heart of emotionally intelligent relationships lies empathy, the ability to deeply understand and share the feelings of another person. Empathy goes beyond sympathy. It involves stepping into someone else's shoes and seeing the world from their perspective. This skill is foundational in building trust, resolving conflicts, and creating meaningful bonds. Empathetic listening means being fully present, without judgment or interruption, and validating the other person's experience, even if it differs from your own. Effective communication is equally essential. Emotional intelligence involves not just understanding your own emotions, but expressing them clearly and appropriately. Healthy communication requires honesty, assertiveness, and respect. When you communicate your feelings openly, you reduce misunderstandings and foster intimacy. Conversely, withholding emotions or expressing them destructively through anger, sarcasm, or passive aggressiveness damages relationships and drains emotional energy. Relationships challenge our self-control and emotional agility daily. Whether it's a heated disagreement, a difficult request, or unmet expectations, these moments test our ability to regulate emotions and respond thoughtfully. Responding rather than reacting means pausing to reflect before speaking or acting, choosing kindness over defensiveness, and seeking solutions instead of blame. Developing this habit requires practice, but yields immense rewards in harmony and mutual respect. Boundaries are another vital aspect of emotionally healthy relationships. Setting clear boundaries protects your energy and prevents resentment. Boundaries clarify what is acceptable behavior from others and what is not, whether related to time, personal space, or emotional demands. Learning to say no gracefully and without guilt strengthens your self-respect and teaches others to respect you. Supportive relationships also act as emotional anchors during stressful times. Sharing struggles with trusted individuals lightens emotional burdens and offers fresh perspectives. Positive social support is linked to lower stress levels, better mental health, and increased longevity. It reminds us that we are not alone and that vulnerability is a source of strength, not weakness. On the flip side, toxic relationships can erode emotional well-being. Chronic criticism, manipulation, dishonesty, or neglect create emotional wounds that hinder growth. Recognizing toxic dynamics is crucial for protecting your emotional health. Sometimes, stepping away or limiting contact with harmful individuals is necessary to preserve your peace and continue evolving. Developing emotional intelligence through relationships also involves emotional contagion, the subconscious spreading of emotions between people. When you surround yourself with positive, motivated, and emotionally balanced individuals, their energy uplifts you. Conversely, chronic exposure to negativity can drain your resilience and skew your emotional responses. Choose your social circle intentionally, seeking connections that inspire, challenge, and support your highest self. Conflict resolution skills are indispensable in maintaining healthy relationships. Conflict is inevitable, but doesn't have to be destructive. Emotional intelligence equips you to handle disagreements constructively by focusing on understanding rather than winning. Techniques like active listening, finding common ground, and expressing needs without blame transform conflicts into opportunities for growth and deeper connection. Another important relationship skill is forgiveness, releasing resentment and the desire for revenge. Holding grudges consumes emotional energy and perpetuates pain. Forgiveness frees you to move forward without carrying the heavy burden of past hurts. It does not mean forgetting or excusing harmful behavior, but choosing peace for your own well-being. Mentorship and learning relationships also enrich emotional intelligence. Seeking guidance from those who model emotional mastery accelerates your growth. Mentors provide feedback, encouragement, and accountability, helping you navigate challenges with greater wisdom. Likewise, mentoring others deepens your empathy and self-awareness, as teaching requires reflection and patience. Emotional intelligence in relationships fosters collaboration and teamwork, essential skills in school, work, and community life. Understanding group dynamics, managing emotions in social settings, and resolving conflicts amicably create environments where everyone can thrive. These skills enhance leadership potential and open doors to opportunities. Technology has changed how we connect, bringing both benefits and challenges. Digital communication allows for instant contact and global networking, but often lacks the nuances of face-to-face interaction. Emojis, tone, and body language are absent, which can lead to misunderstandings. Practicing emotional intelligence online means choosing words carefully, reading between the lines, and sometimes picking up the phone or meeting in person to maintain genuine connection. In sum, relationships are the soil in which emotional intelligence takes root and blossoms. They provide feedback, reflection, challenge, and support, all necessary ingredients for emotional growth. By cultivating empathy, communication, boundaries, and conflict skills, you build a network of strength that sustains you through life's ups and downs. Your ambition to grow emotionally will not only enhance your own life, but also positively impact those around you. Emotional intelligence in relationships creates ripples that extend far beyond yourself, influencing your community, workplace, and even society. The stronger your emotional bonds, the more resilient and fulfilled you will be. Remember, emotional intelligence is a lifelong journey. Each interaction is an opportunity to practice patience, kindness, and understanding. With each connection you nurture, you expand your capacity to feel deeply, respond wisely, and live fully. Embrace your relationships as a source of power and inspiration. When you do, you transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. Chapter 8. Harnessing Focus and Energy. The Fuel for Emotional Intelligence. Emotional intelligence is deeply connected to how well you manage your focus and energy. Without a clear, steady mind and sufficient physical and emotional fuel, it becomes difficult to regulate feelings, make wise decisions, or maintain healthy relationships. Focus and energy are the foundation that supports your entire emotional intelligence journey. In today's fast-paced, distraction-filled world, protecting your focus is one of the greatest challenges you'll face. Constant notifications, multitasking demands, and information overload pull your attention in many directions. When your mind is scattered, emotional self-awareness weakens. You may react impulsively rather than respond thoughtfully, miss emotional cues from others, or fail to notice your own rising stress. Learning to harness your attention restores control over your internal and external world. The key to building strong focus begins with understanding the nature of attention. Attention is a limited resource, like a flashlight beam. You can only illuminate a few things at once. Trying to split that beam between too many tasks reduces clarity and efficiency. Multitasking is a myth that actually lowers productivity and increases mental fatigue. Instead, focus on one important task or emotion at a time. Deep work, prolonged, uninterrupted concentration allows you to dive beneath the surface and engage fully with your goals or feelings. Creating environments that support focus is essential. Eliminate distractions by turning off unnecessary alerts, setting specific times to check emails or social media, and designing your workspace to minimize interruptions. Even small changes, like using noise-canceling headphones, organizing your desk, or setting boundaries with others, can dramatically improve your ability to concentrate. Rest is equally vital to maintaining focus and emotional balance. The brain needs downtime to process experiences, consolidate memories, and reset. Sleep deprivation impairs decision-making, lowers impulse control, and amplifies negative emotions like irritability and anxiety. Prioritizing quality sleep replenishes your mental energy and strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the brain's self-control center. Physical movement also fuels emotional intelligence. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, releases mood-enhancing neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, and reduces stress hormones such as cortisol. Regular movement sharpens cognitive function, improves memory, and builds resilience against emotional overwhelm. Even brief walks or stretches during breaks can restore clarity and calm. Nutrition plays a supporting role in focus and energy. Foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and essential vitamins nurture brain health and stabilize mood. Conversely, excessive sugar, caffeine, or processed foods can lead to energy crashes and emotional volatility. Hydration, often overlooked, is crucial. Dehydration can impair concentration and increase feelings of fatigue and irritability. Mindfulness practices are powerful tools for strengthening focus and managing energy. Meditation trains the mind to notice distractions without judgment and gently bring attention back to the present moment. This skill spills over into emotional intelligence by enhancing awareness of feelings as they arise and preventing automatic, reactive responses. Even a few minutes daily can build lasting mental clarity and emotional calm. Breath control techniques regulate the nervous system and boost emotional regulation. When you feel overwhelmed or reactive, slow, deep breaths activate the parasympathetic system, your body's relaxation response. This physiological shift helps you pause, reduce stress, and respond rather than react to challenging emotions. Time management strategies also protect your energy and focus. Prioritizing tasks according to importance and deadlines, breaking large projects into smaller steps, and scheduling focused work periods with breaks in between prevents burnout and maintains motivation. Saying no to non-essential commitments safeguards your mental and emotional resources. Emotional intelligence demands not only managing external distractions, but also internal ones like rumination, negative self-talk, and unhelpful worries. Cognitive techniques such as journaling, reframing thoughts, and visualization help clear mental clutter and boost positive energy. Writing down emotions brings clarity, while reframing shifts perspective from problem-focused to solution-oriented thinking. Visualization of success and calmness prepares your mind to face challenges with confidence. Social energy is another often overlooked factor. Interactions with people can either drain or replenish you, depending on the nature of the relationship and the emotional atmosphere. Spending time with supportive, positive individuals energizes and inspires, while toxic or draining relationships exhaust your emotional reserves. Being mindful about whom you invest your time and attention in is an act of emotional self-care. Energy management also includes recognizing and honoring your emotional rhythms. Everyone has times of day when they are naturally more alert or more tired. Aligning demanding tasks with peak energy periods and reserving less intensive activities for low-energy times optimizes productivity and reduces frustration. Listening to your body's signals and allowing rest when needed prevents emotional exhaustion and sustains focus. As you cultivate focus and energy, you build a virtuous cycle. Improved concentration leads to better emotional awareness, which reduces impulsive reactions and mental fatigue. This clarity enhances your decision-making, boosts confidence, and deepens relationships. The more you invest in protecting and replenishing your focus and energy, the stronger your emotional intelligence becomes. In conclusion, focus and energy are not just nice-to-haves, they are the essential fuel for emotional intelligence. By creating environments that minimize distractions, prioritizing rest, nourishing your body, practicing mindfulness, managing time, and cultivating supportive relationships, you develop a stable foundation to thrive emotionally. Mastering your focus and energy empowers you to navigate life's challenges with grace, resilience, and wisdom, unlocking your fullest potential in every area. Chapter 9. Delayed Gratification and Long-Term Thinking Building Lasting Success Through Emotional Intelligence. One of the most powerful skills emotional intelligence teaches us is the ability to delay gratification and think long-term. This skill separates immediate impulses from meaningful, lasting goals. It's what enables you to say no to short-term pleasures when those pleasures threaten your bigger dreams. It's the difference between fleeting satisfaction and deep fulfillment. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist the temptation of an immediate reward in favor of a later, often greater reward. This concept became famous through the marshmallow test, a psychological experiment conducted in the 1960s. In the test, children were given a choice. They could eat one marshmallow right away or wait 15 minutes and receive 2 marshmallows instead. The children who waited tended to have better life outcomes, higher academic achievement, healthier relationships, and more emotional resilience. The takeaway? The capacity to delay gratification is strongly linked to emotional intelligence and long-term success. It's not just about resisting candy or distractions. It's about mastering your impulses, managing your emotions, and focusing on what truly matters. This chapter will explore how cultivating delayed gratification and long-term thinking can transform your life and career. At its core, delayed gratification involves emotional regulation. The immediate urge to indulge arises from a desire for comfort, pleasure, or relief from discomfort. Whether it's the craving for junk food, scrolling social media endlessly, or making impulsive purchases, these urges trigger an emotional pull that can be hard to resist. Emotional intelligence allows you to recognize these feelings without immediately acting on them. You learn to sit with discomfort, the restlessness, boredom, or anxiety that often drives impulsive behavior, and make choices aligned with your higher goals. Developing this skill requires increasing your self-awareness. You must become attuned to the moments when temptation strikes and understand what emotional state you are in. Are you stressed? Tired? Lonely? These states often lower your resistance to impulses. Recognizing the triggers helps you prepare mental strategies to stay on track. For example, if you notice stress leads you to overeat or procrastinate, you can develop healthier coping mechanisms like exercise, journaling, or reaching out for support. Visualization is a powerful tool to reinforce delayed gratification. By vividly imagining the benefits of your long-term goals, you strengthen your motivation to resist short-term distractions. Picture yourself achieving success, feeling pride, and enjoying the fruits of your discipline. This mental rehearsal primes your brain to value the future reward more than immediate pleasure. Another essential component is goal setting. Clear, compelling goals give your choices meaning and direction. When your goals are specific, measurable, and connected to your values, they become powerful motivators. Writing down your goals and reviewing them regularly keeps your mind focused on what truly matters, making it easier to say no to distractions. Planning and breaking goals into smaller milestones also support delayed gratification. Large goals can feel overwhelming and distant, making immediate rewards more tempting. By setting achievable steps and celebrating small wins, you create a sense of progress and satisfaction that fuels your commitment. Each milestone reached strengthens your willpower and belief in your ability to succeed. Understanding the brain's reward system sheds light on why delayed gratification is challenging. Our brains are wired to seek immediate rewards through the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation. Instant rewards trigger dopamine surges, reinforcing the behavior. Long-term goals, however, require sustained effort without constant dopamine hits, which can feel less exciting. Developing delayed gratification means training your brain to find satisfaction in the process itself and in the anticipation of future success. Mindfulness meditation supports this by increasing your capacity to observe cravings without reacting. When you notice an urge arise, you learn to watch it as a passing thought rather than a command. This space between impulse and action is where self-control lives. With practice, you widen this gap, gaining power over your choices. The role of patience cannot be overstated. Patience is the emotional strength to endure discomfort and uncertainty while pursuing meaningful outcomes. It is a form of resilience that allows you to tolerate delays without frustration or giving up. Cultivating patience involves shifting your mindset from immediate results to steady progress and growth. Recognize that setbacks are part of the journey, not signs of failure. Emotional intelligence also teaches you to reframe setbacks and delays positively. Instead of viewing them as punishments or evidence that you should quit, see them as opportunities to learn and strengthen your character. This mindset reduces emotional reactivity and sustains motivation over the long haul. Self-compassion plays a critical role when practicing delayed gratification. You will inevitably face moments of weakness or slip-ups. Rather than harsh self-criticism, which drains motivation and increases stress, respond with kindness and understanding. Forgive yourself, reflect on what led to the lapse, and renew your commitment. This balanced emotional response keeps you moving forward. Social support significantly enhances your ability to delay gratification. Surrounding yourself with people who share your values and goals provides encouragement, accountability, and inspiration. Positive relationships help you stay focused and reinforce your commitment when temptations arise. Technology can both challenge and support delayed gratification. On one hand, constant access to entertainment and social media bombards you with instant gratification opportunities. On the other, apps that block distractions, track habits, and remind you of your goals can help maintain focus. Use technology wisely to create boundaries rather than weaken your willpower. Financial decisions are a clear example of delayed gratification in action. Choosing to save and invest rather than spend impulsively builds wealth over time. This discipline requires resisting advertising and social pressure, managing emotions around money, and thinking about long-term security rather than short-term satisfaction. In the entrepreneurial journey, delayed gratification is a cornerstone of success. Building a business demands patience, persistence, and the ability to delay immediate rewards like leisure or comfort in favor of hard work and learning. Entrepreneurs who master this skill navigate uncertainty with steadiness, avoid burnout, and create lasting impact. The rewards of delayed gratification extend beyond material success. Emotional intelligence shaped by this skill fosters deeper relationships, better health, and a greater sense of purpose. When you can regulate impulses and think ahead, you build trust with others and yourself, reducing stress and enhancing well-being. In practical terms, start cultivating delayed gratification by setting small challenges. Delay a small pleasure for a few minutes, then gradually extend the wait time. Practice pausing before responding to emails or messages. Experiment with replacing impulsive habits with intentional actions that align with your goals. Remember, delayed gratification is not about deprivation or rejecting joy. It's about choosing the joy that lasts, the satisfaction that comes from meaningful progress, integrity, and self-mastery. It's the art of saying yes to what truly matters and no to distractions. As you strengthen your ability to delay gratification and think long-term, you reshape your brain and your life. You develop a mindset that embraces challenges, values growth, and pursues excellence with steady focus. This is the essence of emotional intelligence, using your emotions as allies, not enemies, in building an extraordinary life. The journey to mastering delayed gratification is ongoing, but every step forward deepens your emotional resilience and expands your potential. Keep your vision clear, your goals compelling, and your heart patient. In doing so, you unlock the power to create a future without limits. Chapter 10. Self-control in relationships. Emotional intelligence for stronger connections. Relationships are the fabric of our lives. They shape our happiness, influence our success, and define our sense of belonging. Whether it's family, friends, colleagues, or romantic partners, the quality of our relationships profoundly impacts our well-being. Yet, relationships are also one of the greatest arenas where our emotional intelligence and self-control are tested. Emotions run high, conflicts arise, and impulses to react defensively or impulsively can threaten even the strongest bonds. The ability to hold the line in relationships to practice self-control amid emotional storms is a critical skill. It's what allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, to listen deeply instead of interrupting, and to act with kindness even when hurt or frustrated. In this chapter, we'll explore how emotional intelligence and self-control intertwine to build healthier, more resilient relationships. At the heart of self-control in relationships lies emotional awareness. The first step is recognizing your emotions as they arise in interaction with others. Notice the subtle shifts, the quickening heartbeat when anger flares, the tightening chest with anxiety, or the warmth of connection during empathy. Being aware of these feelings without judgment allows you to pause before you act. This pause creates a crucial space for choice, enabling you to respond rather than react. Self-control helps you manage difficult emotions that relationships inevitably trigger. It's normal to feel jealousy, disappointment, resentment, or fear. The difference lies in how you handle these feelings. Instead of suppressing or exploding, emotional intelligence teaches you to acknowledge emotions honestly and then decide on the best way to express or channel them. This might mean calmly communicating your needs, setting boundaries, or practicing forgiveness. Listening is one of the most powerful acts of emotional intelligence and self-control in relationships. Truly, listening means giving full attention without planning your response or judging. It requires patience and presence, qualities strengthened by self-control. When you listen deeply, you validate the other person's experience, reduce misunderstandings, and create a safe space for open dialogue. Effective communication goes hand in hand with listening. Self-control helps you choose your words carefully, speak calmly, and avoid blaming or attacking. When emotions run high, it's easy to say things you regret. Emotional intelligence equips you with strategies like I statements, I feel hurt when, that express your feelings without assigning fault, fostering connection rather than conflict. Setting and respecting boundaries is a key aspect of self-control in relationships. Healthy boundaries protect your emotional well-being and clarify what is acceptable. Emotional intelligence helps you identify your limits and communicate them assertively, yet kindly. It also allows you to honor others' boundaries, which builds mutual respect and trust. Conflict is inevitable in relationships, but it doesn't have to be destructive. With emotional intelligence and self-control, conflicts become opportunities for growth. Instead of escalating, you learn to de-escalate by managing your emotional responses, listening empathetically, and seeking solutions collaboratively. This transforms disagreements into chances to deepen understanding and strengthen bonds. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is essential for relationship self-control. When you empathize, you move beyond your own perspective and connect with the other person's emotional experience. This connection softens defenses, reduces anger, and encourages compassion. Practicing empathy requires regulating your own emotions to be fully present with another's. Patience is a form of self-control that is indispensable in relationships. People change slowly, and growth takes time. Patience allows you to tolerate imperfections in others without frustration or withdrawal. It nurtures forgiveness and acceptance, creating a stable foundation where love and trust can flourish. Emotional intelligence also helps you manage relational stress. Life's pressures, work, finances, health can spill over into relationships, causing tension. Self-control enables you to separate external stress from your reactions to others. It empowers you to bring calm, understanding, and support into the relationship rather than blame or withdrawal. Self-control extends to online and digital communication as well. Texts, emails, and social media often provoke quick, reactive responses that can damage relationships. Practicing self-control means pausing before hitting send, considering the impact of your words, and choosing kindness over conflict in digital interactions. Forgiveness is a profound expression of self-control and emotional intelligence. Holding on to grudges or resentment drains emotional energy and erodes connection. Forgiving doesn't mean condoning hurtful behavior. It means releasing the grip of negative emotions to free yourself and open the door to healing. Forgiveness is a deliberate act of emotional strength that preserves your peace and promotes relational repair. Trust, the foundation of all meaningful relationships, is built through consistent self-control. Keeping promises, managing impulses to betray or harm, and demonstrating reliability create a sense of safety. When you practice emotional intelligence by recognizing and respecting others' vulnerabilities, trust deepens naturally. Self-control in relationships is also about balancing your needs with others. It requires the courage to advocate for yourself while remaining open and supportive. Emotional intelligence guides you in finding win-win solutions where both parties feel heard and valued. In romantic relationships, self-control nurtures intimacy and passion by fostering honesty, respect, and emotional safety. It helps you navigate challenges like jealousy, misunderstandings, and external pressures with maturity and grace. Couples who cultivate emotional intelligence report higher satisfaction, better conflict resolution, and stronger bonds. Parent-child relationships also benefit tremendously from self-control. Parents who regulate their emotions model healthy behavior and create secure environments for children. Teaching children emotional intelligence equips them to manage their feelings and develop self-control, setting them up for success throughout life. At work, self-control improves teamwork, leadership, and customer relations. Emotionally intelligent employees can navigate office politics, handle criticism, and collaborate effectively. Leaders who demonstrate self-control inspire trust and motivate teams, fostering a positive culture. Developing self-control in relationships is a lifelong journey. It requires humility to acknowledge mistakes, curiosity to understand others deeply, and commitment to continual growth. Practicing mindfulness, journaling about interactions, seeking feedback, and learning communication skills are practical steps to enhance this capacity. Ultimately, relationships are mirrors reflecting our emotional intelligence. They challenge us to grow beyond ego and impulse, inviting us to become more patient, compassionate, and wise. When you hold the line with self-control, you create connections that nourish your soul and empower you to thrive. Remember, no relationship is perfect, but every relationship can be better through the strength of emotional intelligence and self-control. As you cultivate these qualities, you become not only a better partner, friend, or colleague, but also a more resilient and fulfilled person. Hold the line in your relationships and watch how your world transforms. Embrace your emotional power, the path to a fulfilled life. As we reach the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect on the incredible strength that lies within you, the strength of emotional intelligence and self-control. This book has shown that emotions are not obstacles to overcome or enemies to fight. They are powerful allies, guiding us toward greater self-awareness, deeper connections, and more meaningful lives. To feel it, don't fight it, is to honor your emotional truth and harness it to thrive. Emotional intelligence is the blueprint for personal transformation. It teaches you to listen to your inner world with kindness and curiosity, to accept your feelings without judgment, and to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. This skill transforms how you see yourself and relate to others. It builds resilience, so setbacks no longer break you, but instead become stepping stones to growth. It fosters empathy, allowing you to connect authentically and compassionately. It empowers you to create a life rich in purpose, balance, and joy. The strength of emotional intelligence lies in its practical power, the power to change your daily experiences. When you recognize your feelings as signals, you gain clarity about your needs and values. When you regulate emotional responses, you choose actions that align with your highest goals instead of momentary urges. When you communicate with honesty and empathy, you nurture trust and harmony. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains of resentment. These everyday acts add up to a profound shift in how you live and lead. Self-control is the cornerstone of this transformation. It is not about repression or rigidity, but about freedom, the freedom to choose your path despite challenges and distractions. Self-control allows you to hold steady amid emotional storms, to pause before reacting, and to build habits that support your well-being. It is a muscle you strengthen with patience, persistence, and self-compassion. Every moment you practice self-control, you vote for the person you want to become. Remember that emotional intelligence and self-control are skills, not fixed traits. No matter where you start, you can develop them through intentional effort and learning. The journey may be challenging at times. Old patterns and fears may surface, and growth may feel slow. But each step forward brings greater peace, confidence, and fulfillment. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Celebrate your wins and forgive your setbacks. Your emotions are your guidepost signals pointing you toward what matters most. When you feel fear, it might be a call to courage. When you feel sadness, it may be a signal to seek comfort or reflect. When you feel joy, it is an invitation to savor and share. By paying attention and responding mindfully, you transform emotional turbulence into clarity and strength. The relationships in your life reflect your emotional growth. As you cultivate emotional intelligence and self-control, you improve not only your relationship with yourself, but also with family, friends, colleagues, and partners. You become a source of calm, understanding, and support. You create bonds built on respect and authenticity. You influence others positively, inspiring them to grow alongside you. In the professional world, these skills elevate your leadership, collaboration, and creativity. Emotionally intelligent people communicate better, manage stress effectively, and navigate complexity with grace. They inspire teams and foster cultures where innovation and trust flourish. Emotional intelligence is not just a personal asset. It is a competitive advantage in any field. Looking ahead, the possibilities are limitless when you embrace your emotional power. You are equipped to face life's uncertainties with courage, adapt to change with resilience, and pursue your dreams with clarity. Emotional intelligence lights the way to a life where challenges become opportunities and setbacks fuel your determination. Take this knowledge and practice it daily. Check in with your feelings. Use mindfulness to stay present. Pause before reacting. Practice empathy toward yourself and others. Set healthy boundaries. Communicate openly and kindly. Build habits that nurture your emotional health. Surround yourself with people who support your growth. You hold the key to your emotional freedom and fulfillment. By choosing to feel it, don't fight it, you open the door to a life of depth, connection, and joy. This is not just a skill to learn, it is a way of being that transforms your world from the inside out. Thank you for committing to this journey. Your willingness to face your emotions bravely and develop your emotional intelligence is a powerful act of self-love and courage. Carry this strength forward with you. Your best, most vibrant life awaits. Hold the line. Feel your emotions fully. Use their strength to thrive. The path is yours to walk step forward with confidence and heart.